What a day yesterday was. The day started very early. Some information was dropped to me in the morning, very early in the morning. And I know everybody that has questioned about the Rhode Island Interlocal Risk Management Trust have always had that. What is she talking about with that? Or they call and say, all right, what do you know about the trust? And I've always said that I couldn't say anything, Because up to that point, it was pretty much related to me. It was related to me, as claims that I had put against the city, and my conversations with Frank Milos, and everybody knows that I tape everything. And although that they were requested, all my conversations and everything with Mark DeSisto's office, I actually couldn't even really talk about it, or even with a court order, or a request for audio and everything. They were not going to be able to get this information from me. It's been pretty well protected. And so anyway, yesterday was so amazing. And I was able to help other people as well. And it was a good day. It was a very good day. So I know that I have not been able to talk about the Rhode Island Interlocal Risk Management Trust, but soon we will be able to. And it's so funny because, whenever there's like a timeline, a time crunch, I don't stress over those. And I don't know who believes. But I can tell you that I believe in divine intervention. And there are sometimes people just come to you for whatever reason. And there's a reason that they walk into your life to give you that other perspective on things, or they have information and they don't even know at the time that the information is the information that you need. And you don't even know that the information that they have is information that you need. But it all works out in the exact time that it's supposed to. And, I know a lot of people probably listen or have seen me or listened to me speak about something, and I may come across like a hard person. I was never a hard person before dealing with what I've dealt with in the city of Pawtucket. It's hardened me. It really has. You would think that you would think that 11 years ago, had this been handled correctly with Frank Milos, we wouldn't still be here 11 years later, and it's going to be seen for what it is. But his enjoyment in the abuse, the bullying, but we're not going to get into that because yesterday was an amazing day. So the day started at 7 o'clock. Some information was dropped. Now, we had been working on a lot of paperwork and internal email correspondence and all this kind of stuff. And it all fell into place yesterday. It really did. And if you don't know how corrupt Rhode Island is, you're going to hear about it when this comes out. Because as small as I think of Pawtucket, and I mean, the size of Pawtucket is small. But the impact on what is going to be released as it relates to Pawtucket is crazy. It's crazy. And this information is actually going to help so many others. So the information was dropped yesterday, and I'd reached out to some people that this is going to really benefit their attorneys and things like that. And when I'm talking and I'm saying, yeah, so I have this internal email. I'm blind. I'm 85% blind, but I know when I did things, and I know when I said things, and I know all the things that happened, all the IA investigations that were not taken, and police report. I know my story. But what helps other people is they can take a major part of what we have worked on and use it in maybe a court proceeding, or maybe it's something else that's been happening in the state of Rhode Island. And huge shout out to my friends over at the State House. Oh my God. I cannot thank you enough for always being so kind and courteous, and the follow-ups with, is this all you need? Is there something else? Can I give you, anything else from this time period? Or is there any other documents that you think relate to this that, we can get to you? And this is not through APRA. Just so you know, as you go through things, you can figure it out. You can figure out who has this information and who's willing to give this information. It's not like sending an APRA to Frank Milos and, he's going to scrutinize it until the day, is done, because he doesn't want you to see, he wants to hide the bad of his departments, the ones that he's representing, his clients. He wants to protect the city at all costs, even knowing that an 80-year-old woman was living in fear because of his involvement with Turtle Boy Sports and all that stuff. So, so this is a different class of people, right? These are people that go to work and they want to help the people. They're placed in a position to help. And I know it's kind of a little crazy, because that's what these positions, even in the city of Pawtucket, are supposed to do, right? These people are put in positions. And if it's the fire department, they're there to help people. If it's the police department, they're not hired to beat you. They are hired to help the city. Their job is not to beat you. Not to shoot you, not to beat you, not to send people to your home to do harm to you, to harass you, to bully you. None of that is in their job description. But people, I have found the most wonderful people, and a shout out to everybody that has worked on this, because you did it for the right thing. You did it for the right reason. You weren't afraid. And I just have to say, the paperwork and internal emails and everything that just all fell into place yesterday gave me hope. And it was so funny because when I say it gave me hope, that's what I think of. I think of that eagle with their wings spread, with the banner that says hope. And by the end of the day, well, probably by midday, there was a big relief. And it was, I could laugh. I could joke around. And I mean, I had somebody on the phone, and sometimes you just have to laugh because you think of it and you say, why or how do they think that they were going to get away with half the shit that they got away with? And it's got to stop. It's going to stop. So I know this is so vague because although I have the information, it needs to be secured with a lot of people before I really want to speak on it. Because sometimes, this is what happens. Sometimes when I say something, and this was one of the major things, and this happened a while back. Every time I would go to talk about the Rhode Island Interlocal Risk Management Trust Company, I always had it in the back of my head, you can't talk about this. You can't talk about this. There was certain aspects of it I couldn't talk about as it relates to me. But it now includes a lot of people. A lot of people are going to benefit from this information. Kind of like the Tina thing, right? When you're talking to people and, they're like, oh, it comes from the top and Tina did this and Tina did that. And, we got to do something about Tina and Tina and Tina. And, Tina should not even be the chief of police. I don't know how else to explain it. But there were a lot of people that should not. It was Adam Roach yesterday from the Attorney General's office. That's who it was. That, as it relates to the Turtle Boy sports. Anyway, knowing that the Attorney General's office, I'm getting off the big news from yesterday for a second. But, my thought process with, I believe it was Adam Roach, Sean Linus, the Attorney General's office. I have the state police that we went to as it relates to the Turtle Boy sports, the Brian Beach, the James Bano, Tina Gonzalez, the meeting, them coming to my home, all that. And you say to yourself, okay, so this was huge, right? That a police department was involved with going after someone. And they had no control of the situation, just in case you're wondering, right? So when Turtle Boy Sports came to my house that night, there were no policing them to make sure that they didn't do something that they shouldn't have done. Now, and when I say Turtle Boy Sports, I'm talking not Turtle Boy Sports, just Kate Peter, Maxwell Mitch, Aiden Carney. I'm not talking just them. I'm talking about their followers. I'm talking about Brian Beach, James Bano being on lives, gaslighting people to come to my home. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about, oh, well, she's nervous about Kate Peter. No, I'm not worried about Kate Peter. You know who I was worried about? I was worried about my mother. That's who I was worried about. I wasn't worried about myself. I was worried about my mother. And it is very well articulated in a conversation I had with Sean Driscoll, where he says, well, why didn't you call us? And it was like, within 20 minutes, I knew that it was, these people were sent by the Pawtucket Police Department. Now I'm going to call them. Are we drumming up overtime? What are we doing? I mean, this was so ridiculous. But there was a lot of communications between the Attorney General's office and myself. And as it relates to the Turtle Boy Sports, I went into the State House and I testified of what I was going through. So it's not a case where, oh yeah, no, there was no Turtle Boy. There was Turtle Boy Sports. Ask Frank Milos and ask for his involvement in letting this just continue on. You do that, get back to me. So anyway, now I'm getting lit. So I guess it was because I had been saying Sean Linus, and I believe it's Adam Roach was the one that it wasn't the APRA itself, it was the contents of the APRA. And when you're working in the Attorney General's office and you see police corruption, police officers sending people to your home, and you prove it. You prove that you had to put a stay on an APRA, on the decision of an APRA, because you were being threatened by the Pawtucket Police Department. And then after the fact, you submit that paperwork to the Attorney General's office that says, look at what Frank Milos just gave to me. Look what everything that I was saying that nobody was paying attention to, because I could have been killed at any time. Here's the proof of it. And Adam Roach, I believe it's Adam Roach because it was read to me last night. Adam Roach, his response was, I'm sorry, is this an APRA? You work in the biggest fucking law firm in the state, the Attorney General's office, and you're asking me if the proof of police corruption, police sending people to my home. And I'm sending this to you because we had to have a stay on an APRA. We had people come to the house, all this stuff. And Frank fucking Milos was covering it up. And then the response, and it's not a recent response from Adam Roach, but we were collecting everything. And his response to me was, after the proof was given, his response is this an APRA? No, I'm just showing you the proof. You dumb ass. You are an attorney for the Attorney General's office, and you didn't walk that over to Peter Nerona and say, we have a problem in Pawtucket. No, we didn't do that, huh? We didn't say, wow, everything that she's been saying happened, and here's the proof of what the fuck happened. My Dave Holden video where he admits that, there are some people in the Pawtucket Police Department that think that, Jimmy Bina went too far. Oh, really? Just some of them? Just fucking some of them? Unbelievable. This is not where I wanted this video to go today. Yesterday was an amazing day. Yesterday linked so much all together. Don Grebian, Tina Gonzalez, Frank Milos, the Trust, the RIPAC, the State House, everything has been linked together. So people, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're coming.